Jess and I have done a lot of projects over the years, and we've also been fortunate enough to have people hire us to come do their projects. One job we've never done, a kitchen renovation, but that's about to change. The home we're working in is about 100 years old, and with that comes a lot of problems.
The windows are level. The walls are not.
But our goal is simple. Give this kitchen some character. Over the next 30 days, we're gonna be demoing, adding brand new cabinets, backsplash, and fresh paint. So let's get after it. Let's renovate this kitchen.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
We're demolishing. I keep wanting to say demolitioning. Sasha is killing it here.
This is Sasha.
Sasha came to join us
She's
today.
our sister-in-law, and she is crushing it.
She's skilled. She has some strength, too. She took down a whole microwave. She's taking down all this trim work. I think she might need to get hired onto the team.
So this morning, we spent a little bit of time working on the windows. It actually took a little bit longer to get these windows ejected from the house, just based on the exterior siding. Now that I've got the windows complete, we got the microwave out and all the doors off, we kind of know how to do this. It's time to take these cabinets out, and we are about to struggle.
Where are we going?
Let's just set it down right here. So we got the first large cabinet down. What's next?
I'm out. Peace out.
You done? All right, Sasha, it's just you and me.
We got like half of it right there, honestly.
Oh,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I think somebody just decided on this one that they couldn't find the stud. All right, that is the end of day 2 for me. Day 1 for Jess and Sasha. She just left. We've got all the uppers demoed except for the soffit. We're gonna deal with that tomorrow and hopefully get this out and start putting in the upper. So we will see you in the morning.
I'm not ready to be filmed. I don't have my glamour face on. I'm really tired. My water bottle is very heavy and my wrists hurt.
So the soffit is the big thumbs down by the homeowners. They hated this thing and wanted it to go. The problem is we don't know what's back there. We don't know if there's any electrical, any plumbing. We don't know if there's, well, we know there's no HVAC because there's no return or exit vents or anything like that. Additionally, we had to be careful because we don't want to rip the existing drywall from the ceiling. And furthermore, the blocking for this soffit was all over the place. It was kind of hard to predict where there was going to be a stud. The more we tore out of this soffit, the more confusing the blocking got. It just seemed random. And this is just the beginning of the issues. Once the soffit was cleared out, we found this pipe that ended up being a vent for the sink. Well, we called a plumber. He came in, removed it, and put in a Studer vent under the sink. Now that the majority of the demo is complete, the next few days consisted of me finishing up the windows, adding some drywall where the cabinets are gonna go, fixing some electrical issues for the installation of new lights.
The cam light used to be here. The line I've already run over there, and we gotta get it in the ceiling, through here, and through that hole. So I think what we're gonna end up doing here is cutting just a small little sliver to be able to fish the wire through a little bit easier. Our ceiling joist, I believe, are running this way, so we're gonna have issues with that.
While I was up here fishing these electrical lines, I noticed a few more problems. Number one, no insulation, no foam. This is why bugs are getting in. And then also look at these cripples above the window. It's crooked. Everything is crooked in this framing. Real quick, just to clarify what a cripple is, it is part of the framing above a window or a door, in this case a window. You can see it here in this image. Not that you need to know that information, but just I'm using terminology. Maybe some people don't know what that is. That's what a cripple is. Moving on. But hey, it's an old house. You know, what do you expect? Now, when it comes to hanging these cabinets, we do have a few things working against us. The floor is sloped downwards, again, old house. The ceiling is cattywampus, and the countertops are not standard height. They're a couple inches higher. Oh, and it's a short ceiling, so This is gonna be fun. Oh, and then we're gonna have to do some drywalling, which I absolutely hate, but just enough to cover where the cabinets are gonna go. That's literally all that I have done today is drywall. Went to Lowe's to get more drywall. Drywalled again. I hate drywalling so much. These cabinets are ready to assemble, so very easy to put together. They're shaker style, good quality, good build, easy to put together. So I'm using this as kind of a second hand, but I'm also using these clamps to keep it flush, face frames flush, and stitched together. Before I attach it to the wall, I'm attaching them to each other. All right, guys, check it out. We got some cabinets up. Now we do have a problem.
It's okay.
It's not okay though, it's not.
The ceilings are 92 inches tall and not 96. We knew that. Bottoms are also a little bit higher. It's 38 inches instead of 36. So those are two things working against us. And the main problem originally was there was not enough counter space between the top of the bottoms and the bottom of the uppers. Everything needed to go up. That's why we got rid of that soffit in the first place. The cove crown molding that was sent with the cabinets won't fit between the space of the ceiling and the top of the uppers. I went ahead and installed these, but I installed them at 2 inches from the ceiling. And I want to see what they think. It kind of depends on what the tallest appliance they have is. I think the microwave might be the tallest. It's about 16 inches. And that's about how much space I've got now. If I go 2 inches from the ceiling, over there at least, I'll have about 16 inches from the bottom to the bottom of the uppers. We ultimately decided on that height, and I did find a crown molding with a shorter profile that worked. I used MDF just so it would be a little bit more flexible. Moving on to the section above the fridge, the plumber removed that pipe, added a cedar vent, and so we were able to get our last cabinet hung. And now it's time to move on to the trim and the crown molding and the panels for the fridge, all that good stuff. Really gonna pull this kitchen together and make it look like there's cabinets and the way that it's supposed to look. Not to be a Debbie Downer and to ruin your viewing pleasure of watching me grind away in this kitchen, let's talk about something a little awkward, a little uncomfortable, and that's the fact that only 2% of our viewership are subscribed. That's a bit embarrassing. With that said, there's going to be a huge payoff at the end of this video. I promise. You're going to love the way this thing turns out. If you do, consider hitting that subscribe button. And if you hate the kitchen and you hate how it looks, just don't subscribe. That's totally fine. No skin off my back. I'm speaking it into existence. We're going to finish our molding, our trim here. We're going to get this other panel in. Again, to reiterate, we have a very uneven ceiling and walls and all this stuff. The cabinets are level, and that poses a problem. So our gap here is less than our gap there. But the molding that I found yesterday at Lowe's, I think is gonna work. We're gonna go with that. It's small enough, it's only 2 3/4 in height. Also using MDF. I don't typically use MDF, but it's for that flexibility. The pine was not gonna be flexible, but going the MDF route, that allows me to adjust the trim, the crown molding, in spaces where I might need it to flex a little bit more. Now that that is complete, we're moving on to this behemoth here. As you can see right here, I am sitting at just over 2.5 inches. Back here, 3 inches. So the goal was around that 2-inch mark. 2 inches there, 2 inches there, 2 inches here. Nothing in here is level. So these cabinets are pretty dang low. I'll tell you, I did a pretty good job. So again, this is the new profile. It's a little bit smaller. It's about 2 3/4 in height. My glad that Lowe's had this, but I like to use this like CA glue essentially, or like an accelerated bonding agent, bonding glue. I've been using super glue because I didn't have any of this, but I saw that Lowe's had this. This is the first one that I've seen there, at least at this location. I've never used this on MDF. I've only ever used this on wood, so I don't know how MDF is going to react to it. Yeah, here we go, MDF. It says you can use it on MDF, so sweet. Yeah, we're gonna knock this out and be done with phase 1 of this kitchen renovation. The crown molding is here, it's done, and I think this was the best option, in my opinion. Let me know in the comments below though. Again, the factors were our ceilings are lower, our countertops are higher, and we still wanted sizable cabinets, but we also didn't want those cabinets to come too low. We also didn't want them to go all the way to the ceiling. Either way, you're gonna have to fill those voids. Crown molding, it's the way it has to be. I will, caulk a lot of these lines because you can see from here, like where the fellowship is, how it increases as you go down. But from this vantage point, I'm 6'2", and I can very barely tell, Real quick, I forgot one small detail about this renovation. One thing that we're not going to be doing in this kitchen renovation is removing the lowers. Those are going to stay, but we're going to sand down the faces, repaint them, and just bring them back to life. It's a simple, easy, and cost-effective way to revamp your kitchen. This is the hardware that we're going to be installing, and it goes super well with the tile from tilebar.com, and that goes really well with our paint color. Everything is just clicking. It's just coming together.
So I'm teaching Sasha how to do cabinet tools here. There's two major rules, and they are...
Make sure you put the handle on the right side, and make sure you're not going into the face.
That's right. So put the handle on the correct side, which opens, not this side, and make sure that where you drill in, you are not going to go into the face frame. We are figuring out the length of our pulls, and so I've got this Craig jig here. You can use a regular, you can make a jig. You can eyeball it if you want. I don't recommend eyeballing it. This works pretty well. You can set it on this jig to the length of where the screw holes are, which in this case was 3 3/4, thereabouts. The flange of this handle is going to line up with the bottom of our beveled edge of the rail. What I did, because this flange is so thin, or like it's really close to the screw hole, when we made that mark, I'm just finding that line in this hole and then moving it up a notch. And we also have our height set with our square here. So now what we can do is we go around the kitchen is set this and then butt that up against that, and then there's your height and your depth. So these are all the boxes for the drawers, slides. We got our doors and face frames up there, our faces. And you said this is like your jig?
Well, no, actually, this is how, since I didn't make the cabinetry, this is the way I can screw this to the back wall, mount the back side of the guide.
Oh, okay.
The front side of the guide will be mounted to the face frame, and that way I can kind of get it squared.
Gotcha. So Adrian is here, and we are getting the boxes all put up. Got some nice maple here with a lacquer. There we go. And let's see. So this is what we were working with before. We're not really sure what is going on over here. What's behind there? It's empty, open. And Adrian was like, let's just put a faux door over it. Boom. That looks so good. So for this section here, there was 2 drawers here and 2 doors here, and what we're gonna do is a set of 3 drawers instead, so we gotta remove these 2 partitions. I feel like they can just, dude, I'm just like,
They're corrugated in, so it's just like a metal band piece that sticks in the back. Yeah, you can probably just break that right out.
oh yeah.
So we are putting the build out in so we can have support for the guides in the back. Typically when we build cabinets, we would just flush everything out so we could just mount them.
Yeah.
But with older cabinetry, we want to give ourselves some leeway for adjustment.
Where, and then where did the
brackets?
The brackets, where does that go?
That's going to screw to the back wall to give us plenty of support in the back.
Okay.
So we'll screw to the front, and then we'll screw that to the back. Then I can get it square, slide the door in.
Cool.
And once the drawers are in, we'll mount the fronts with the doors, and that way everything can look.
Everything's nice and clean. So we've completed all of the handles for the uppers, and they look really good. We've got 2 drawers set. Adrian's working on the stacking drawers.
As you can tell from some of these angles, adding the paint makes a complete difference to these lowers. But once you start putting on drawer faces and new doors and hardware, it changes everything. And that's what we're working on now. While Adrian continues doing the drawers and getting those set, Sasha and I are gonna work on putting the doors in. Now these doors have a 1/2 inch overlay. So if the opening, let's just say it was a square, 24 inches all the way around, the door would be 25 inches. That would give us a full 1/2 inch on the top, bottom, and both sides. So you can use a jig if you want to. Craig Tools makes a jig for this. I'm sure there's other brands out there, but we just eyeball it. I'll measure up a 1/2 inch from the top, set my screw somewhere in the middle of the hinge. That way I have a little bit of flexibility up or down, and then just go from there.
Adrian's been doing cabinetry work for 20 years.
I was 20, actually.
Well, there you go. So you've got your holes, the screws drilled into the box first, and you use that as kind of a
Yeah, typically what I'll do
marker.
is pull a screws through, and then I eyeball it, or I'll put a couple marks anyway, and then get it set, pop it in a little bit, then I can pull the drawer out, run the screws from the back.
Makes sense. Yeah, nice.
So we have 2 doors left to put in, and it's gonna be 2 faux doors, the one next to the oven and then the one right below the sink. There's a couple different ways that you can attach these, either with brackets on the inside, or you can just brad nail it. And that's what we're gonna do, just brad nail it, especially by the oven. There's no other way to attach it is just some type of nail. And so we're gonna use an 18 gauge brad nailer to attach it to that section, and then we'll do the same thing for the section below the sink.
What we're gonna do now is we are going to take off this old backsplash. I don't know that we have to do any replacing of anything, but there is a small hole here, so we may have to do some replacing of the, what do you call the back layer?
Drywall.
The drywall? That's not drywall though.
I think we're gonna be okay.
Justin thinks we're gonna be fine. But Sasha and I, we have covered the counters, we've laid it down so beautifully. Can you see how well we did?
Yeah, great technique.
We didn't have any scissors.
Fantastic job.
So we're going with what we're working with today. And now we're just going to start taking this off while Justin sits around and watches us work.
Yes,
He's lazy.
I am.
Justin's going to be working on the trim. So Sasha, let's get it. We're getting ready to lay this tile. Are you ready? I'm ready. Are you ready? Am I
I'm
supposed
ready.
to be like pumped? We're so pumped.
Get pumped!
I feel like I look like JoJo Siwa whenever I do that now. I can't do that. I'm not coordinated like that. We've already run into our first major issue.
Put these cabinets here.
Unfortunately, we thought everything behind the backsplash was going to look all right. The drywall that is back there, the sheetrock, is just crumbling. It's crumbling to bits.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man.
Pretty sure that should not be happening.
Yeah, we're going to have to get more of it removed to kind of see how much we end up having to replace, but I think it's gonna set us back a couple of days.
Our initial goal for the day was to get all of the backsplash done, but that is definitely not happening now. We decided instead of trying to salvage some of the sheetrock so we didn't have to replace it, it was gonna take way too much time, and so we went ahead and demoed all of the sheetrock that was attached to the backsplash. It was going to take the same amount of time, if not less, to just go ahead and replace that drywall.
tile this wall here. So we ran into a couple of problems. We're working in a really, really old house. We knew we were gonna have problems with unlevelness, but some issues that we're encountering today are our counters have a difference of like 3 inches from corner to corner. So that's a huge difference. And then on top of that, we're taking the tile all the way up to the ceiling. Now, normally we could just run the tile along with the unevenness of the counters and kind of fudge some of the numbers up here when you're coming up onto the cabinets. But in this case, since we're going all the way to the ceiling, that runs a little bit more of a risk. So what we're gonna do, we spoke to the homeowner. We could go based off of our lowest point. Over here, we would have like a sliver of a tile that was getting bigger and just continuing to grow along this whole wall, which is super noticeable. So what we're gonna do is we're going to still tile along with the countertops. We know they're uneven, and we're going to try to fudge the grout lines as we go on up.
Now that we have the drywall up as best as we can get it and the predicament of the sloped countertops, we know what we're gonna do. We're gonna get to work here. I'm gonna continue to work on the window jambs while the ladies work on the layout before we start laying the first section of tile.
What do you think?
Looks good.
You like my smile?
Sasha and I came back the next morning and we knocked this thing out. Wall number 1, where the stove hood range is going to be, complete. As we continued on to wall number 2, we definitely met some challenges, especially going up above this window. It's a little bit tricky getting in between the window jamb, the trim, and then the cabinetry, but we were able to work it out and keep grinding. The final tile has been laid. Great job.
All right.
Yes. Looks good. Wall number 3, complete. Good morning. It is another day. It's Thursday, and we're ready to do the grout for the backsplash. Jess and I went to Lowe's last night, picked out the grout. We are using eggshell. That's the grout color, which closely matches our tile. This is our grout choice here. Again, going with eggshell. It's got a nice, that's the old backsplash. There's a nice color to it. Matches pretty well with our current backsplash. So finally got it mixed to a good smooth peanut butter consistency. That's what we want. All right, it's been a couple of hours. It is 11:25, and this is the progress that we've made. Not much at all. I mixed the grout way too thin, and I tried using the grout bag. Didn't like that method. I'd rather throw it on and float it. So I had to run to Lowe's to get more grout, to get it to a thicker consistency so I could just throw it on the wall and go about it that way. It's working out a lot better. It also is not sitting or setting as quickly as I thought it was going to. I came back. There was a little bit of runoff on some of these first rows that I did that I was able to come back and clean off. So we should be good to let it sit for just a little bit longer than I originally thought I was gonna have to. But I'm also working in sections, for 3 or 4 rows, working my way up, wiping down. Unfortunately, I do think it's going to take a lot longer to get this done just because of the pattern of the tile. It's a lot harder to clean. I also don't have any help today. It's just one of those days. But it must go on. We must continue to press forward and try to get this thing done. It does look really good. I'm just going to keep trucking along I'll see you guys in 5 to 7 business days. All right, it has not been 5 to 7 business days, but it is the next day, and yesterday was a challenge. Working and doing grout by yourself is not easy, especially as you're trying to get the grout onto the surface and then come back and wipe it down without the grout in the bucket drying, and that happened several times. So I don't really know what I did wrong, if I did anything wrong at all, other than just I was going too slow. I may have needed to get it onto the wall a lot sooner, a lot quicker than I did, but I was really concerned with the backsplash and how the texture of it, not being able to get the grout or any of the grout residue off. It does turn out though that that was not problematic. I realized that leaving it even for about an hour, I was still able to remove it. Eventually I did stop with the sponge and then just came back with a paper towel and dried it, and that really helped. It stopped pulling the grout out of the joint and rubbing it onto our tile. Very pleased, very happy with how this has turned out. All right guys, we are done with this kitchen renovation, and I could not be more excited to show you the final results. It has been a couple of months since we wrapped this project up. We had some issues with a countertop that we had ordered for a small little section next to the oven. We'll get to that in just one second. Since then, the homeowner has been able to add all of their belongings and pictures and knickknacks, and just the space looks incredible. Let's go check out this brand new kitchen. All right guys, here it is. What it was before, when we started this project, it was bland, it was white, there's no character, no texture, no depth, just an ordinary kitchen. And the work, the resources, the time, the energy, a little bit of blood, a little bit of tears too, that we put into this room, and the transformation is incredible. So this kitchen renovation had me in the first half, I'm not gonna lie. There were a lot of issues, a lot of problems. The plumbing, drywall behind the backsplash, the old backsplash, uneven floors and ceilings, and just plethora of unknowns, which is very common in renovations. None of those things were overcomable. None of those problems were impossible to overcome. There we go, I said it. Quick recap, we obviously demoed the kitchen. We got all the old uppers out, we got the soffit out, we put brand new uppers in. These are ready to assemble cabinets. There's 8 of them, 8 in total. All uppers, that's all we did. And then we got brand new hardware here from Target. The crown molding turned out way better than I was expecting. Obviously, we had that issue with the sloped ceilings and inconsistencies in the drywall. It all tied together and it looks amazing. These are our brand new lowers. Again, we did not replace them. It was not in the budget. And so all we did was sand down the face frames. We repainted everything. We got brand new doors. Adrian built the doors for us and the drawer faces, and just added some hardware. And then as we moved into the final phase of this project, we added new backsplash and grout. You saw all that. You saw all the issues we ran into, but it looks so stinking good. I'm really impressed. Jess and the homeowner did an excellent job in picking the finishes. Then the homeowner, we didn't add this in the video, they added a range hood and a new gas stove. He also added new can lights in the ceiling. We painted the walls. We added fresh coat of paint on the walls and the ceiling as well. The final piece of the puzzle for the kitchen renovation is this platform and this side panel here for the oven. There was a platform with the old oven. It had to do with the height of the counter. It wasn't structurally sound, it was flimsy. So I built a brand new platform, got it tucked into the wall, and then this section over here, the homeowner wanted something that would cover the side of the oven. Their bedroom is over in the corner, and they didn't want to be able to see the oven looking from their bedroom into the kitchen. Adrian built this nice little panel here, turned it out, and then we had the place that cut their previous countertops. They also cut this as well. We installed it, grouted it up, and that's all she wrote.
I'm gonna show you guys everything that we bought for this kitchen that took it from crusty and dusty to shimmery and shiny, just like a pearl. So let's take a look. I was really hoping that the homeowner would like two-toned cabinets in this space just to bring out more of the eclectic charm of the older home, and thank goodness they really both enjoyed it. So we ended up going with the color for the bottom. It was Rushing River by Benjamin Moore. We tried out Booth Bath Gray at first, but it was just a straight up gray color. We didn't end up loving it. And the Rushing River brings in a light bluish greenish hue. I really like how this looks, especially compared to the upper cabinets. We didn't end up painting the upper cabinets at all. They're just the white color that they came in with. So the homeowners actually picked out the hardware. We were looking at some similar options from Etsy, but they were all a little bit too brassy colored. And so we ended up getting an option from Target. And I really like how these knobs look. Everything is just so eclectic once you mix it all together. We have regular knobs here on the doors. On some of the drawers, we have an old antique looking cup handle. Looks amazing, especially when you mix everything together. On the uppers, we just have these gold brass pulls here. We also have these brass pulls turned horizontally on some of the drawers as well. When you mix all of your hardware together like that, it really makes the space feel lived in and cohesive. I'm not sure that the tile is going to show up on camera well, but we purchased the tile from Tile Bar, and this is their Montauk tile, and I believe this is in the color Sand Dune. This tile has a pearlescent finish to it, and so it is just so cool and so unique. We've never worked with a tile that looks like this before, but each tile is just a slightly different color. So you've got different shades of tans and browns and creams. It brings so much more life and color into the space. This just gives it more character and more life.
It's kind of hard to know how to close out this video because I just have so much I want to say. We're just so incredibly proud of the work that we put into this, and that's really about it. Like I said before, and in the video, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more just like it, please hit that subscribe button and the like button.
To see something like this come to life is just so exciting for me. I know Justin has put a lot of hard work into this space. So has Sasha. Shout out to Sasha.
Thank you, Sasha.
Yes, if you guys are watching this, shout out to Sasha in the comments because we could not have done this without her. Just excited to see this place come to life, and I really hope that the homeowners love this space as much as we do, and we are super excited for the next project that is coming your all's way soon. So stay tuned for another video, and we'll see you in the next one.
Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.
We've just finished an amazing kitchen renovation, and it's finally time to show you everything that our team has done. There's nothing that's going to be more exciting than seeing this transformation. Let's get in there. Oh, we're already inside.